Hi and welcome to City of Liverpool online radio station here at Liverpool Hope University. If you don't know by now, my name's Dove Ross Williams and I'm doing an event very soon with Mr. A.O. Falana at the TUNG Auditorium entitled MAPFEST, Music Attack Against Poverty Festival. And part of our showcases, we're having music, comedy, dance, and a variety of other entertainments. But one of my favourite, fashion, is going to be part of the show. And we've got 4 of the most talented fashion houses in England here with me today. So I'm going to jump into each person who's going to introduce themselves and the name of their fashion house. And so I hope you enjoyed today's showcase on City of Liverpool online radio station. So over to the first person to introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about your name, your company, and how long you've been running.
I'm Taya Hughes. I am the owner of a boutique on Smithdown Road called 7th Street Boutique. In there you'll find my designs as well as other local designers, as well as my Tayamika brand and another brand called Buy and Save Alive, Basque and Basal.
Yeah, I've heard of Basal. I've heard of them. And next on, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Zena Clarkson and my brand is called ZENOBIA Ethical Fashion, which was developed about 15 years ago. And it's more of a developmental program that changes through education.
That's fine. But Zena, we're going to be digging much deeper into the work you do, because I've been privy to be working with you on many projects. So I'll tease out those things to you when we break down each fashion house.
Okie doke.
That's brilliant.
All right.
And next up, who's this lovely lady as well?
Hi, my name's Janice Charles. I'm the owner of a brand called House of Charles. We create unique couture bespoke hats. We also do hat hire. They're all handmade. The brand's been going for about 9 years now. And yeah, I've started doing menswear as well. I do bridal range as well. Anything that you can put on your head, basically, I can make it for you.
I know, I've seen your hats, Janice, and they're absolutely...
I'm going to jump in. Janice has got a background in architecture.
Oh, yeah.
Architect.
Thank you, Dion. Yeah, forgot to say, I'm a completely self-taught hat designer. I'm a former architect. And I came into this industry by accident, like I said, purely self-taught.
I'm loving the stories. I'm loving the stories so far of all of you. I'm looking forward to digging really deep into your journey in fashion and stuff. And finally, but not least,
save the best for last.
Yes.
Hi everybody. Dion DaCosta. Fashion's fun. My mum showed me how to sew when I was younger, and I've just got a love of nature, anything that's sparkly. You know, I get my inspiration from so many things. Animals, whatever, you know what I mean? I you know, like curtains, anything that's going. But I've been so lucky on my journey because I've managed to get so far. To work with British Fashion Council in London and London Fashion Week many times. So I've been very honoured and blessed. I'm very humble with it, do you know what I mean?
And the name of your fashion house, Bo?
Well, you know what, I'm like a free spirit, do you know what I mean? So I've got Bohemian over, but I've got One Duke's Gill, which is showcased recently at Northern Fashion Week, which I was proud of, and that's named after my dad.
I think you mentioned this to me. Yeah,
he was dapper. He was dapper him. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask many of you, you know, about your history and stuff. So
who do we? Private.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Not too deep.
Much.
So Taya, I want to start with you. Tell me how you got into fashion, and like any obstacles you faced. I'm not sure how long you've been in Liverpool, but just tell people in terms of any young girl watching this as well, if they're thinking about a career in fashion, what you enjoy in fashion, and as I said, the obstacles and issues you might face, and yeah, just any young person that might be watching this, yeah, boy or girl wants to be get into fashion, some warning signs and some positives. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
I'm not going to tell you about the obstacles because there are many.
Well, some maybe some heard, just a few. Yeah.
Well, how I got into fashion is the first question, right?
Yes.
So I didn't ever plan to own a boutique or have my own brand. My plan was to study fashion, go to London School of Fashion, and after that I had my eyes set on interning for either Alexandra McQueen, Burberry or Vivienne Westwood. But whilst I was still studying a diploma in fashion art and design at the Arts Centre, Liverpool Community College, I happened to fall pregnant with my first child, who is 10 years old now, nearly 11. So, that I kind of couldn't go to London because of that. And then I thought, okay, it's a long story, but I'll try and shorten it. Anyway, fast forward, I decided I'm not going to London because obviously I'm a new mom and, got a little one to look after. And I enrolled to study here in Liverpool. I was going to go to uni here in Liverpool and then discovered that I was having another baby. So I thought, okay, what are we going to do now? 2 children, this dream is not dying. Long story short, I decided to take a leap of faith and just thought, you know what, how about if I just create my own brand whilst I'm raising my children and see how it goes? And the rest is history.
That's a wonderful story. Okay, we're going to jump back to you in a minute. So again, Zena Clarkson, how did you get into fashion, and maybe a bit about your type of fashion that you do as well?
Okay, I first got into fashion as a child. I was always interested in cutting things up and putting them back together. That was something that my mum and dad allowed us to develop. They thought, well, if I know where they are, they're safe. So we were allowed to be expressive at home with our art. My brother's an artist as well in the city, so it runs through the whole family. To the point that when I reached secondary school, I was not a fan.
Oh.
No. So I decided to stay at home and make bespoke uniforms for the girls in school.
I think I heard this. I love this story.
So that caught the attention of the headmistress, who was wanting to know where I was. And it went from there. So I basically managed to dodge the school board until I was 15, and then decided when I got my first gyro to go out and buy fabrics and and just be creative. And it started from there. I was the local dressmaker for all the little community.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I had a lot of people at the front door, which mum that's how I got into fashion. And then, like Taya, I had children, so it was all put on hold. I used to make for my children, my little ones. Then the local community would get wind of, where did you get that? And then I think when they were in school, decided to go to college to, develop further, get more of a professional edge on my work.
Yeah.
And I found out that I was more ahead of the game than I realised. So I started off on a 3-year sitting gills course at Liverpool Community College, Mill
very
Street.
popular community college, isn't it? Yeah.
Done the first year, and they basically said I didn't have to finish that course. I could go straight into a second year BTEC, which led me to a first year HND, and then and completed a high national diploma in clothing technology. Yeah.
Hey.
And then from there on, it was self-employment.
Yeah.
And an independent design business on Smithtown Road, working with recycling, upcycling, repairs, commissioned orders. And that's where I realised the avenues that you can take this skill. It doesn't just have to stay in one place, you know, like you've got market stalls, you've got independent boutiques.
Yeah.
Even independent designers, you know, who haven't got the skill to sew and draft patterns, I could be commissioned by them. Still their work, still their design, still their label. And at the moment, and then that ran its course because I felt the market was becoming a bit saturated, you know, with just the demand. I couldn't keep up with it. And I decided, right, I've got all these skills, let's pass them on.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at now. I've just finished, I've just been developing 2 years of a health and wellness programme
At the Lighthouse.
Liverpool Lighthouse.
Of course,
yeah.
yes.
And that we're changing that format at the moment to where I'm training people up to do alterations and repairs.
We're going to dig back later on, especially
I
the
could go on
work.
forever.
Yeah, I know, Zim.
Sorry.
I do want to find out a bit about the work you do with young people.
Yes.
So we'll jump back into that, and then talk about MAPFEST, of course.
Fab.
So next up is Ms. Janice Charles. Tell us a bit about yourself, Janice.
Hi. My journey into this industry was purely accidental. I started it, even as a young child, I was like always designing things like interior design, mum and dad's house. I used to have dolls that I never used to really play with in the traditional sense. I was always trying to design and make clothes for them. I used to customise my own clothes when I was 9, you know, putting frills on sleeves and everything. But the real fashion was like I used to watch all the old movies with my mum. Like the 1950s Marilyn Monroe. And all I could think of when I was watching those films was like the clothes, the hats, you know. It just really, I used to immerse myself in it and, you know, fantasise about, you know, because to me, those days, you know, when the men and the women used to really, you know, the epitome of style and fashion, really. Fast forward, I used to watch a programme with Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen doing interior design. It's
I remember that
long
programme.
Story.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to be an interior designer, so I sought around for courses, and there was 3-dimensional design going in Liverpool Community College.
All three of you have been to Liverpool Community College.
Community College, so I undertook that course, but what I didn't realise, it was not interior design the way I thought. It was 3-dimensional design, which was space planning, architecture and product design. So we got to dabble in all those things for the first 2 years, and then decided what we were going to go into. I actually got, when we finished, I was getting like, to my surprise, I was like, I couldn't even use a computer when I first started college. I was like a bit of a technophobe, do you know what I mean? But anyway, I did, my teacher really encouraged me, like, because I was like always in the top 3 in my class, you know. And what that course did, it taught me to think outside of the box. So when I'd finished that course, I actually got a place in De Montfort and Salford University, and my tutor told me I was that good. He didn't think I needed to go to university. He told me all I need to do was take my portfolio around, and someone would take me on. So I seen a position going in Liverpool City Council, which was like trainee architectural technician. So I took my portfolio, actually I got taken on, they paid for me to do a HND, and I was actually an architect in Liverpool City Council. But unfortunately that story wasn't a happy one, because my boss was a bit of an ist. You know, I was a woman in a man's job, and the jobs that I was doing was like really boring, not like these amazing creations I was doing like when I was studying, do you know what I mean? It was like basically school refits and office refits, and I found myself coming home and I was brain dead, and that actually caused me to be ill, and I'd take a year out, and during, I'd actually dabbled in fashion before that, so actually I had a sewing machine at home, and when I took that year out, due to boredom, I just looked out in the cupboard one day, because like when we used to do our courses, we used to have to make scaled models of our designs, so we always had like fabric and everything. So I opened the cupboard and I seen fabric, and I don't even know what. I looked at this fabric and I thought I could make a hat out of that. I don't even know where that thought came from. Don't even know. And this was even before. So this was actually like, I was still in the council. We'd been to the races one year, and I couldn't find a hat. So I started to customise a hat, and everyone was saying to me, like, you know, you should be best dressed competition, but I didn't. But then a year after that, I found this fabric in the cupboard, and I thought I could make a hat out of that. So I was aboard and had my sewing machine, had the vision in my head, started to create this hat. When my partner came home, I said, "Don't you like my hat?" He went, "Oh, that's amazing." And he says, "That just come." I said, "No, mate." He went, "You made that?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." He went to me, "Get it on eBay." Do you know what I mean? To test the market. Now, my very first hat sold for £23, and I was made up.
Wow.
I was made up. Because that hat had 700 odd views in 3 days that I created.
Wow.
And I was made up £23, and somebody actually wanted to buy my hat, do you know what I mean? So obviously that then gave me the bug. Then, you know, I was like completely self-taught. So I was like always like, you know, trying to upskill myself. And then there came a competition called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And it was calling for milliners of all levels. And I started to enter that, and I got shortlisted to the final 12. And that hat was sold in John Lewis's in Oxford Street. So then that made me realise it could be more than just a hobby. And the rest is history. I officially launched your brand in 2015.
Okay.
And yeah, the rest is history really. And I've been blessed, you know. Yeah.
I think all of you are telling some amazing stories of why you got into fashion, and I think it'd be good to just dig a little bit deeper as we go along. Now, finally, on to Miss Dion Da Costa. Can you tell us, Dion, about how you got into fashion?
I'm not really sure, 100%. It just must run through the blood. My mum used to be a fashion designer. So when she'd be sitting doing sketches at home, and I was interested. So when I was 4, she put me onto a sewing machine and showed me how to sew. I was obsessed. You know, just literally decided to cut out all the clothes in the wardrobe. I was telling Tay, because we was on a podcast the other week, and you know, I didn't know about any better, and I went and with my little scissors and cut all the clothes in the wardrobe to make it into a fabric store, and dressed all my dollies, you know. And I don't know whose clothes they were. I think they were my auntie's, my great aunt's clothes. So after that, really, I developed my own sense of fashion away from my peers. The girls who were here, we all grew up like around the same area. Do you know what I mean? We know each other. And back years ago, people had their own sense of identity. They didn't want to, like, you know, look the same as everyone else. Zena's just touched on it there, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know, she was popular and people wanted to go to her to be individual. So, you know, it was like, you know, I grew up in the 80s, and, you know, we had different styles that were going on. But what I'd do is I'd raid my grandma's wardrobe, because she had such an eclectic collection of absolutely stunning vintage clothes from the 1940s right through to the 70s. So you had really, like, you know, tailored suits like Chanel. Then you would have like rhinestone fronted, beautiful, you know, tunics, absolutely gorgeous. So I'd take a little bit of that, make some of my own clothes, and mix it with a bit of mainstream. And I always had my own sense of style, you know. I used to buy the Vogue magazine, and my whole room was cut out. It was a collage, the whole room. Like, people going, what is this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'd have so the whole room, and those styles every day, I'd look at it and be so inspired and go, I'm going to look like this today and look like that. You know what I mean? It was just, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then, you know, I don't know whether sometimes I think to myself, you know, am I following my mum's footsteps? Am I trying to make my mum proud? And yeah, I am, but at the same time, like, you know, it's just something that runs through me, I think, you know. I just think it's just so much fun, really. I don't take it seriously one bit. It's just fun for me. But what happened was that I'd gone through, I had the same story as the girls, that, you know, kids, because we're women. And what had happened is that, you know, I'd sort of like put it in the pipeline, and then I had a bit of spare time on my hands. So I got the sewing machine out one day, and I was like, you know, I've gone through this abusive relationship, and it's something I didn't have to get rid. Yeah.
Yep.
See you later. You know, I made her laugh a bit, but it was traumatic.
Yeah.
So I just thought, you know, I just get back to it, just sit down. And I had this great big table at a flat in town, huge table. So I put all, when I got myself some fabric and started making some things that I got friendly, I'd started belly dance classes. And the lady who was running them, she was doing, you know, she was designing for various events. And I decided then to get back into it because she was very inspirational. And so anyway, I'd made a few connections through, which was really lucky, and made some bohemian style clothes. And what happens is that local photographers cottoned onto it and started getting asked to do photo shoots really fast. And the pictures turned out amazing. And then the very first fashion show that I did was the very big catwalk. And I, like everybody, I told everyone, because I'm all about being inclusive, I was like, come on girls, there's this fashion show. And I was like, to Mary Spenlove, Q Spenlove, come out to it. And she had this big amazing collection, like, you know what I mean? And like, people all walking down the runway, and I had 2 outfits, right? I had 2 outfits. So I had Calvin, he is trans, and he wore an absolutely beautiful bohemian, you know, it was like this dead flurry with a big rose on his neck. And I had another lad, and I put him in a suit with a paisley tie and shirt. And he had like a bowler, you know, and it was just really cool. And they got picked up by Carol and Franklin from the clothes show Live. They were there, and it was like they zoned right in on it, and I was like, I've only got 2 pieces. Do you know what I mean? But the guy, this is really bad, I can't remember his name, so sorry.
That's okay.
But he got scouted and ended up being in a Harry Potter movie because of his look. They loved him. And then he went on to work for Adidas as a model, Adidas specialist. Do you know what I mean? But I only had 2, and then it's just gone on and on and on. But I do find it difficult because I've got a mental health condition. So it's really stressful when I put a collection together. And I have been bullied a bit as well.
Okay, we won't dig into that today.
We're not going to deal with that today. But what happens is, like, you know, I haven't let anyone stop me, and I've got to where I wanted to be. And it's just like I've done like loads of catwalks now in London Fashion Week, and when I look back at them, I'm proud, and my son's so proud of me as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's only when you look back and you see someone and in the audience, and they might stand up or, you know, get the phone out and look at it, and you realise, you know, that you're all good at what you do. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes I sort of like self-doubt.
Thank you very much, Dion. No, don't cry. Thank you so much. Do you know what, and people, audience watching at home, I've been working in the city for a long time now. I've had the pleasure of working with most of you on projects. But the thing, you know, as well, I'm always championing, you know, cultural diversity and projects with cultural diversity.
Zach Nimmo, shout out to Zach.
Yeah, okay. Zach, how you doing, Zach? But I champion cultural diverse shows, and it just happens that all 4 of you are women of colour. And, you know, I've got to ask you that question, being women of colour, how, you know, in one nutshell, each of you, how you've circumnavigated the fashion industry and so forth. You know, has it been, you know, hard to get your items of clothing into mainstream? Just a brief one from each of you, how you found it as, you know, a woman of colour, and also, you know, women getting into the industry.
That's a really good question, because the reason I ended up with 7 Streets Boutique was purely for that reason. So here I am. I've showed my first collection at Liverpool Fashion Week. And yeah, I was like 8 months pregnant when I showed at Liverpool Fashion Week.
I love Liverpool Fashion Week. It's amazing.
Yes.
Amanda's cool.
Yeah. So there's me realizing that my dream of going to London is not going to happen anytime soon. So I made the decision that I'm just going to see what's around, and I didn't want to wait. I just said, you know what, I'll make it happen. Look for local shows, and there was this show called Liverpool Fashion Week, and I thought, oh, okay, let me inquire about this. And Amanda Moss was very responsive, and yeah, she got me on board, and the show was in October, and I made this decision like July. So I literally had like 3 months to put together a collection, which was like my first collection. Never put a collection together. So yeah, I've done that, and I got really good reviews at Liverpool Fashion Week. There was Bay TV at the time. We were on Bay TV.
I remember Bay TV.
Yeah. I got like magazine.
Yeah.
Newspapers everywhere from Africa all the way to the UK. That collection was written about. I mean, like some of the African...
So if you're sorry to interject, a lot of your fashion, because I want to touch on that, is it African kind of a...
Well, I've actually... that's a good question. So there's different sides to me when it comes to fashion. So for that reason, I've separated the brands. So I've got Tayamika, which is my brand that does the prints and...
The African print.
The African
Oh, brilliant.
prints.
Okay.
And my African-inspired
I've seen
fascinators.
those.
Yeah.
Seen those.
So that's Tayamika. My 7th Street brand, on the other hand, does more like evening dresses and glamour and all the sparkle and stuff like
Well, you're
that.
going to show me some of your items in a minute. By magic, we'll see some of our items. Let's just jump on very quickly to Zena. Just in a brief word, how did you manage being a woman of colour, of course, and any obstacles you faced in trying to, make it in the fashion industry?
Yeah, well, my sort of like style was more vintage inspired, so I used to look at because I'm interested in my culture and I'm learning about my culture along the way. I used to look back at the journey that people of colour have taken over the years, from sort of like the civil rights movement up through the blaxploitation era, and the Renaissance area before that, and they were my main inspirations. The funky afro, the sort of what your granddad wear. Remember the vests?
Yeah.
Africa, it was all that basically, and it's only been recently that I've been looking more at authentic African cloth.
Yeah.
Not the print, the actual woven cloths. And I've not long been commissioned by a guy called Levi Tavari.
Oh, I love Levi Tavari.
And he totally inspired me, because when I made it, I thought this is part of my journey, my cultural journey. I'm learning about my history and my background. So I always like to incorporate some sort of cultural element to it, with the fabrics or with the era. But as I said, I'm branching into teaching now at the moment, but I want to incorporate that cultural learning within
we love it.
The programme. For as young as possible, for children as young as possible, so they have got a sense of identity and where they've come from, and
I think that's important what you just mentioned.
Oh yeah, totally, because it's about fashion. Where does fashion come from? Clothes are our identity, and you look at your culture.
Yep.
And when
absolutely.
If you want to carry on, you want to be part of that, showcase that as part of your identity within your dress. So
I'm loving that.
Next.
I'm loving that.
Yeah, it's
retaining.
development of always.
Yeah, and retaining, but the cultural identity you said is same. Tayamika, you're wearing a wonderful outfit. Can you tell people what you're going to be presenting at MAPFEST Festival type of styles you're going to be doing, but then also tell us a bit about the start fashion you've got on at the moment.
What am I going to be showing?
Yeah, at MAPFEST. What kind of clothes?
So I'm going to be showing some nice sparkly evening dresses.
Ooh.
Some prints with some of these amazing fascinators.
So what's a for someone at home that doesn't know what a fascinator is, what is a fascinator?
So a fascinator is a piece of headwear. Probably piece is not the right word, but it's an item of headwear that is not a hat.
That is not a hat.
Not a hat that you put on your head, and you can wear for different occasions. Like if you're Isabel Blow, you can wear it every single day of your life. But most people would wear it at weddings and high teas, like ladies' events and the races.
Okay.
Yeah,
of course, Ascot and I've seen the fascinators.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing your clothes at the MAPFEST Festival on the 8th of June at the TUNG Auditorium. Zena, you're wearing some one. Tell us a bit about the style that you've got on and what you're going to be showing. Yeah.
Well, this is what we were talking about earlier, with the cultural influence behind it. So this is a modern take on a sort of like almost African sort of like priest
Love it.
vibe. And what I'll be showcasing at the
MAPFEST, yes.
will be whatever the kids come up with. So so should be a surprise element, but I'm pushing towards a hat and a top.
Brilliant.
So that will represent them.
Okay.
Almost like the sort of which is something I've done in the past, which we made graduation caps, if you remember. Right?
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
But we made the children done their own version of them. We covered them.
I remember.
In the African fabrics and the cultural fabrics. So something along that vein. That's what
I can't
I'll be
wait.
showcasing. Yeah.
Okay, that's
and
brilliant.
The children will have made them themselves.
And what are these items here?
They're just a
Show them
work
to the
in
camera.
progress. Again.
Do you want to show them to the camera? So
that's just like, what would you call that? Like a neck?
a neck.
Collar.
That's not as fancy as layers, but
Okay. I want one of those.
I just tried it on before, and it's got conch shells on, and it has amazing energy
so
in
the
it.
cowrie. The reason why I put cowrie in
Cowrie
because
shells, sorry.
they're
Cowrie shells.
they were a currency in African culture back in the day.
Oh, the shells.
Yeah, so they didn't trade.
Of course.
Traded with these.
We're getting a bit of history now.
They had too much gold, that's why they were more rare.
So again, I'm bringing this element into it.
I want one of those and a hat, please.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So and you can wear it with pride and represent your culture.
Okay, I'm going to commission you to make me a set of that, the hat and the thing for the summer.
Okay, and you may want a coat when you see Levi's.
But sorry, because it's Africa. Yay coming up as well on the 21st and 22nd at Sefton Cup. No, we're not promoting Africa Yay, but I'm always there filming stuff. So Africa Yay, I would like one of those at Africa Yay.
Yeah. We'll make
Okay.
for the consultation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll chat after the show, and I know you, Janice, makes some amazing hats. Do you want to tell people about this one? No, I want you to show them.
Okay.
On this camera.
This is one of my avant-garde
Oh,
Beautiful.
amazing! Yeah.
I love it's like one of my signatures. I love laser cuts. So it's like one of my signature pieces.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
Thank you.
And that's just a touch, because I think I'll chop into the edits some of your wonderful pieces of hat. But so Janice is going to be showcasing some amazing hats. So do come along.
Didn't you commission Janice to make hats?
Yes.
Oh,
I did for Rebecca.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, you did. You made a wonderful hat. Thank you very much. And then finally, thank you for showcasing that. And Dion, I'm going to chop in some of your edits, but some about animal prints. Can you tell us a bit about the...
Well, I didn't get briefed to bring anything with me, but
That's fine.
It's a good job because I'm working on something really exclusive. and it's going to have its debut at the
MAPFEST.
MAPFEST Festival, which is something that's never been seen before, and it's to do with diversity, equality and inclusion. Yeah.
Oh, I'm based on think of breath.
So
what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's like really important, and it's representing what your festival is about, because you're helping different charities like Zoe's Place.
Okay, of course,
and
you know.
Our for Others. And was the last one.
Whitechapel Homeless.
Whitechapel Homeless Centre.
Thanks for mentioning those.
Yeah, which is like, you know, I've been through so much, we all have, and I really appreciate what you're doing. So I'm going to bring that element into the show, and I'm working on some pieces behind the scenes. The last one that I done was in Manchester with Amanda Moss, who's the CEO of Liverpool Fashion Week, and I put a collection on there which was like mostly animal prints, and it just comes back every year. Fashion rotates, doesn't it? You know,
yeah, of course it does.
But you know, we had a laugh. It was good. And when I wasn't sure, because I've had so much going on, and so it was like, you know, you've got to do this show. And I went, I've just done a collection, so let's bring it. Do you know what I mean? So it's all like
Well, I must say to everyone, all of these wonderful fashion houses, if you want to see their fashion and their clothes that are outstanding, amazing, please do come along to the MAPFEST event at the TUNG Auditorium, Saturday the 8th. Just want to get your quick take, all of you, on, you know, MAPFEST itself. I mean, how does it feel to be involved in supporting an event where it's raising money for charity and so forth? You know, I'll start with you, Dion. You did touch on that, but for you, how do you think the importance of doing an event where it's supporting charities, and as you mentioned, an Hour for Others, or if it's Zoe's Place, or if it's the Whitechapel? What's your thoughts on those?
I think, like, you know, everybody has been touched by someone who's had cancer, unfortunately. Do you know what I mean? And, like, you know, children, it's just so gorgeous what you're doing, because you've set up a front row to bring people who...
Gonna make me cry.
No. Who you know, are into life, and they're getting them out, the kids, and
yeah,
something beautiful. Do you know what I mean? So it means a lot. I did, like, that's why I jumped on this. I've been going through some stuff myself, and I was just like, the girls know what's been going on, and I had to, like, you know, put a back step on my own thing. But, you know, I've been helping others as well, but what you're doing, bringing everybody together and making memories for people, creating memories for people, it's like spot on. Do you know what I mean? I've had some sets in the family myself, not being morbid or nothing, but nice one. Like, thank you so much.
Give you a touch for that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. This is going to make me cry. First show, I might even cry. Janice, what is your thoughts on, you know, I know we had Bob Geldof doing, you know, Band Aid, which raised a lot of money back in the day. Well, what's your thoughts on an event that is dedicated to, you know, bringing the light on charities that are doing amazing work but are struggling?
I think it's amazing. You know, as soon as you mentioned it, I mean, I'm like very particular with who I collaborate with anyway, do you know what I mean?
Of course.
As soon as you told me what it was for, and obviously being you, I was, you know, right straight on board, you know, because I just think it's an amazing cause, and I'm honoured to be a part of it, to be honest.
Oh, Janice, thank you so much. House of Charles and Ethical Fashion.
Same, yeah. I mean, it's right up my avenue, you know, so just any, you know, the more you can help, the better, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Zena, for being on board. And Taya, what's your...
I'm really looking forward to MAPFEST Festival, and I think having fashion is a lovely addition to the already... vibrant MAPFEST music festival, and I've worked with Aya, and we work together.
Aya Falana, yes.
Yes, so Aya and myself are on the board for leading Support for Humanity.
Yes.
And I know Aya's passion and his vision for all things to do with eradication of poverty. If that was
disability,
possible, he would be the man to do it, honestly. So I'm really, really proud of what he's doing with MAPFEST and all the other work that he does. It's really amazing.
Big shout out to Ayo. Big shout out to Ayo. And then finally, as I said before, Tickets go on sale now for the MAPFEST Festival. You can go to the TUNG Auditorium box office to purchase tickets at £7, and there's discounts for communities as well. So can I have a big round of applause for Dion DaCosta, Janice Charles, Zena Clarkson, and Taya Hughes.
Or Taya Mika.
Well, Taya Mika, stay tuned for some more City of Liverpool online radio station, and we're out of here.